So, I just watched a horror movie where every single character is a puppet. And somehow, it's one of the most disturbing, depressing, and real movies I've seen in a long time. This is Abruptio, and this one kind of messed me up a little bit. This is No Name Nightmares, where I help you find hidden horror gems and hidden not so gems. Today we're talking about Abruptio, a super low-key horror movie that almost nobody talks about, and honestly, that makes zero sense to me because this movie is insane. So the basic idea, no spoilers, don't worry. A guy named Lester is stuck in a pretty miserable life. Dead-end job, living with his parents, relationship falling apart, and then one day he realizes there's a bomb implanted in his neck. And he starts getting instructions. Do what you're told, or you die. That's all I'm gonna say. Right from the start, this movie feels off. It opens with this weird, chaotic jazz music that immediately just tells you, yeah, this is not gonna be normal. And then everyone is a puppet. And I'm not gonna lie, at first, I hated it. It's uncanny, it's uncomfortable, it looks wrong. But then something weird happens. You get used to it, you stop seeing puppets, and you start seeing people, and that's when the movie really clicks. And what really surprised me is how real this movie feels almost immediately. There's a sequence of Lester going to work, driving, boss talking about numbers, then suddenly he's driving again. It perfectly captures that feeling of where did my day just go? Like, if only workdays actually went by that fast. Can we make that happen? Please? Anyways, then Lester's in an AA meeting. Then his relationship falls apart. Life just keeps hitting him, and it feels uncomfortably accurate. And we really do need to talk about Lester. He's way too real. He's not a hero. He's just stuck behind in life, going through the motions, still living with his parents, getting told, you're not getting any younger. You can feel that pressure. And there's even a line from his friend like, I could never do a 9 to 5, or how do you endure that? That hit, especially as somebody who works a 9 to 5. Well, I guess it's more of a 8:15 to 5 with a 30-minute lunch break. Yeah, that kind of job. And a lot of people are living exactly like this. Maybe more like me, or maybe unfortunately more like Lester. Also, big shout out to James Marsters, the voice actor for Lester. He does an incredible job. Everyone in this movie does, but he pulls his weight. Overall, this movie feels like a nightmare, a fever dream, and a mental breakdown. It's chaotic, surreal, and heavy. This is not just the type of horror movie that, oh, let's just watch something scary, throw something on, have some fun. This is, sit there and rethink your entire life horror. And what's happening in the background on TVs and conversations feels like the world is just slowly falling apart. Very dystopian, very now. And this is where the movie really separates itself, because underneath all the chaos, the movie is saying a lot. It's about feeling stuck in life, being trapped in routines you don't care about, feeling behind compared to everyone else, regret, guilt, and just trying to survive in a system you didn't choose. And there's this constant idea that life feels like a game you're forced to play. Everyone's trying to move up, everyone's trying to win, but the way you win doesn't always align with your values. And the craziest part is, characters in this movie aren't punished for doing terrible things. They're rewarded. Lester, for example, ends up getting everything that he's always wanted. And it makes you think, is that how the world actually works? There's also this underlying theme of cycles, like people being stuck repeating the same patterns, whether it's trauma, bad decisions, or just the structure of life itself. And even small details like characters having barcodes make it feel like people are just products in a system. It's very dystopian. And depending on how you see the world, this might hit a little too close to home. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's also some dark humor in here that completely caught me off guard. Like, there's a failing comedian character played by Sid Haig who's making terrible jokes in the worst possible situations, and somehow it works. Also, his line, "The problem is you see the world through shit-colored lenses," that feels important. Because watching this movie, you start wondering if that's true. There are so many strange little details too. Some shots use real actors from behind and puppets from the front. There's also dialogue that's bizarre but weirdly funny. And yeah, why are there puppet tits? Like, seriously, why? Nobody wants to see that. There's also this constant feeling that everyone is playing the same game and nobody really chose to play it. Whether that's work, money, expectations of where you should be in your life and what you should be doing, it all starts to feel very dystopian. There's even a line later about how far someone will go with a gun to their head. And that idea sticks with you because real life kind of does that too. And what's crazy is this movie actually has some big horror names. Robert Englund, Sid Haig, Jordan Peele. And yet, nobody talks about it. I have no idea why. Oh, yeah. There's this. And this. Why does he look like a crackhead? The puppets are definitely a barrier. But if you can get past that, this movie is incredibly original, emotionally heavy, visually creative, and actually has something to say, which is rare. That said, this is not going to be for everyone. The puppet style is a huge barrier, it's very weird, it's not always straightforward, and it can be pretty depressing. This is not a casual watch. And before we wrap this up, I do want to briefly talk about the ending. No spoilers, don't worry. This is one of those endings where you're probably going to question what you just watched. It's not straightforward, it's a little ambiguous, and it kind of forces you to rethink everything that came before it. Like, what was real? What wasn't? And what was it all actually saying? And for me, it made the movie hit even harder, because it leans fully into the idea of guilt, perception, and how you see the world, and whether you're stuck in it or choosing to be. For me personally, Abruptio is one of the most unique horror movies I've seen in a long time. It's not traditionally scary, but it is deeply unsettling. And more importantly, it sticks with you. This is the kind of movie you finish and just sit there thinking about. It's also pretty damn gory. I don't know how I went the whole review without even mentioning that, but that just goes to show how good of a movie this is and how many other things there are to say about it. I'm giving Abruptio a 4.75 out of 5. Yeah, it's that good. Weird, uncomfortable, dark, depressing, not perfect, but it hits. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you thought, because I feel like everyone's going to interpret this one differently, and if you haven't, just be prepared. This is not a normal horror movie.